Hi, Coach. How do you prepare for a team that hasn't played the past 2 weeks and the site hasn't been determined yet?
Well, just, we take the 4 games we have and break them down and go through our normal process each day. And really, I'll be honest with you, moreover, this season has been, I think the more mistakes you make is the more time you spend on worrying about an opponent. We've got so much we got to do to get better ourselves, that's what we spend most of our time working on, is getting better, fundamentally getting better as a football team. And each week we're doing that. And so you're seeing the results, but we're getting better. And so, but no, obviously we've got a good bit on them. Obviously we have all their film from last year. We had all of our summer reports and all that. I got great receiving core. That kind of what makes, they operate off the big play, can throw the ball. I think their scheme, I think they're very, very well coached, very disciplined football team. That's why they're undefeated. They're very multiple defensively. And man, their kids are just, I'm so impressed with how hard they play and how disciplined they play. And so that's why they're undefeated, and another big challenge for us again this week. But very impressed with what I've seen on film. And obviously we just got to keep focusing on us and us executing what we can execute right now and doing it better each week, because we are far away from anywhere close to where our potential is as far as a football team. We've definitely gotten better. I'm very pleased with the effort our guys have given us. But we don't need to. I think where we've made mistakes this year has really hurt us in games when we were sitting there trying to do too much game planning, too much stuff like that. Obviously, there was game planning last week. I mean, you just go into the game. It's not real complicated. You just take away what they do to win football games. And if they beat you, they're going to beat you doing something else. And then you go into the game offensively and get the ball to your best guys on their less guys. That's how it works. And right now, us getting better is the number one deal.
Alan, go ahead.
So with that being said, and gradually getting better each game, coming off your guys' best game of the year, how important and how badly do you want to get this game in so that you could see the next step in what your team is taking?
Man, I'll tell you, I'm a optimist. So I haven't even thought about that even being a possibility of not playing. Obviously and we've been fortunate all year. Our staff, our training staff, our medical staff, our players, our equipment staff, our administration, everybody have done an unbelievable job. And we've probably navigated this situation. Probably there's not anybody in the country probably done it any better than what these guys have done it here. And we have a great support staff to do that. And our players have done that. But man, each Saturday I wake up and I'm always, just thankful that I'm getting to coach and we're getting to play. And so I'm just being positive that that's going to happen again this week. And so, I hope, one way or another, we'll figure it out and get it done. So, but we're full steam ahead. We just got through practicing, and guys had a great practice, working hard, getting better. And our focus is San Jose, and wherever they choose to play the game, we'll anywhere they want us to go, we'll be there.
If I could follow up on that, you always talk about wanting to prepare these men for post-playing careers. How much do you think this season prepares them for what life is really like?
Well, I think a ton. I think a ton. What's in a person comes out of person. And it really exposes, when you face great adversity, it really exposes what your true character is, and character is what is going to define, how successful of a life that you're going to live. To be a champion in life, you have to be a person with character. And we define that in a person that lives his life in the service of others and denying yourself and taking up the team every day. And so COVID has been a great teaching opportunity. I think that we've grown. I'll be honest with you. It's been a really, really, really hard on a person that I don't like change. I like being organized. I like planning, a year in advance. I like, we do the same stuff over and over and over again. I'm a fundamentalist and how we do things, but it's really, I think it's made each person grow. It's strained everyone, and it's made everyone, and it's also taught you, hey, maybe what's in your heart, that you see all the fear and all that, and not to concern yourself with things that you can't control, but on the same hand, about being disciplined and diligent about how you do things. And so great teaching opportunities in all those areas. And I really think it's helped us. I think we got a pretty close team for a team that's only been together for, 3 or 4 months.
Cody, your question?
Coach, how much are you being included in the conversation with San Jose State? Are they updating you every day? Are you talking to Coach Brennan every day, or what's kind of how's that?
Well, I'll just answer that honestly. I'm not involved in that at all. I'm a pretty hands-on coach as far as practice and coaching, and I coach the football team. That's what I do. And Coach Fig, our chief of staff, handles all that, and he gives me updates when he thinks I need it. And so, I just, I know that they were very confident that we would play, and so that was good enough for me. That's all I need. They have not told me where or when or any of that, but I just know that he was confident that we he thought we would play the game. So I don't really. There's just so much to be done. I don't like to, really I'm not too involved in much of that. I try to stay focused on what my job is, and that's to prepare our team.
Steven, your question?
I know you're a big UFC fan. Are you a big boxing fan? Because it seems like that rope-a-dope strategy you used against Nevada was really effective, especially against that passing game.
Do you even know the fight that the rope-a-dope was used in?
Muhammad Ali, George Foreman.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty impressive.
Also Rocky 3.
I guess you're old like me.
That's how Rocky beat Clubber Lang too. So
I'm a big fan of boxing. I was growing up. I grew up watching, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and Ken Norton and the Spinks brothers. That was kind of the highlight. That was the thing we got most excited about, was those big world champion fights. And I remember George Foreman beating Joe Frazier was a vicious fight. Obviously, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier's fights were always the big ones. But that was kind of the big thing on TV, we had a black and white TV we'd watch. So I remember those well. But growing up, it's sad to me though that it's not like it used to be. I really became a UFC fan because they kind of replaced that. As a fan, I'm a fan. I'll go to Vegas and whatever it costs, I'll pay whatever it costs. I want to sit on the front row. I want to see. I like seeing their eyes. I like seeing their. That to me, that's the best trained athletes in the world. And we do a lot of studying. Coach Cook and I studied a lot about how they train. And you talk about fighting 5 minutes round, 5-minute rounds. Let me tell you something. You try to fight try to fight for 60 seconds and see how hard that is. I think from a training standpoint, we do a lot of things we've taken from a lot of UFC training and things that they've done because I think they're the best trained fighters or athletes in the world from a mental standpoint as well as a physical standpoint. So UFC kind of took over. My favorite fight was Rampage Forrest Griffin. Because just unbelievable fight and unbelievable comeback. I actually watched that fight live. So no, I'm a big fan, but boxing's really, I'm just not, I've kind of fallen off for me. I think the last fight I really watched was Holyfield and Tyson when he bit his ear off, and that was kind of just disappointing to me. So it's kind of just fell off. And then I got to be a fan of UFC, but I don't have a lot of time to do that. In my off season, I kind of like to do that a little bit. And I'll watch them from time to time on pay-per-view, but that's about it.
Oh, because it just seemed like your strategy in that Nevada game sort of was boxing theme. The rhythm with the jabs of the offense and defense, just absorbing their run game just so that you can protect against the pass. It seemed like There's a lot
Well,
of
yeah,
counter strategies.
yeah, that's what you're going to do every week. I mean, you know, what we weren't going to do, you know, you can when we sit down and you look at each opponent, you know, you look at that, and I'm going to be honest with you too. It helps me. Early in the year, I only had 1 or 2 games on someone. As you get more games, then it helps. You know what I'm saying? So you there's less surprise in what you're going to see. There's less body work. So, you know, I'd like to have a couple of those early losses back because I think we would be a different team now as far as how we prepare for and you learn. You get done with the game, you go, oh, wow, you know, learn something there. You learn by playing people and understanding things. You know, we made some schematic improvements from San Diego State to Boise State that you know what helped us tremendously. But kind of what happens, Stephen, as you get further in the year and you get more and more and more games, there's less and less tricking someone. People are going to prepare what we're trying to do and what we were trying to do last week is we were not going to let them win doing the things that they had been doing. And they had rushed for 4 touchdowns and they'd thrown for 14. So we were going to make sure that they're going to beat us. They're going to beat us doing something else. And so it's not hugely complicated. You got to lay a foundation, but we're starting to have a little bit, and I mean a tiny bit of a foundation about what we're doing, and we're starting to develop a little bit of an identity as a football team, and that's something that I'm excited about because we're heading the right direction. We got to keep doing that, but let me tell you who wins games. Players making plays win games. It's not some magical coaching scheme or whatever. It's what you get out of your players. Going to play like you coach them. And I coach them hard, and both ways. I coach them positively hard and negatively hard, based on how they show up in practice every day, every rep. And we got a tough team because they've been trained and they've been strained. And so I'm excited about where we're going from here because we're starting to look like we got a chance to have a good football team.
Alan, your question?
Kind of talking about Chevin, you talked about the rhythm passing game and everything, but what have you told him about trusting his instincts when it comes to, you know, breaking pocket and just going instead of maybe waiting too long and then the lanes close up, but just trusting his legs?
I think he's had to learn. I think he's learned a tremendous amount, and everybody criticizes the quarterback. Many coaches that coach offense don't know anything about quarterbacks. I spent my whole career studying quarterbacks and trying to beat quarterbacks and attack quarterbacks. And I've watched them intently and it happens a lot faster than you say it does. You know what I'm saying? I'm fascinated by these people, all these quarterback gurus and how they're doing all this stuff with them and stuff, but they never have somebody hitting them while they're doing their drill, because that's the whole problem is that a quarterback's going to get hit. And that's what there's a pass rush. There's players attacking them. And so Chevin has matured, become a guy, you can tell he's seasoned now. And what I really work with him very, very intently with is getting him to understand, just take what the defense gives you. Take what they give you. There's been it's been a reteaching for him to understand the footwork that we want and being disciplined with that footwork and how we do all those things. But man, he is only scratching the surface. This kid is really, really going to be a special player. I think he's played like as courageous as any quarterback I've seen. He is tough. I never see him ever show any signs of weakness. I never see him finish a play in a defeated position. He takes what they give him. He makes plays out of things and that's what I always tell I've had a bunch of offensive coordinators go, work for me, gone on, been head coaches. And I'd always stop them and say, hey, look, now I know, you're a guru and you're you're offensive coordinator wizard and all this, but 30% of your plays don't work. Okay. And then when you have a quarterback like Chevin that takes those plays that don't work and makes something out of them, then you ought to be really nice to him. You know what I mean? Because that's the way it works, especially in college football. You got to have a guy that can extend plays, and then what you got to do, you got to adapt what you're doing to him. So we're in the process of doing that. We're doing a lot of things better. We're nowhere near where we want to be. Our tempo is, it's not even tempo yet. Even though you've seen last week, we have more tempo now. We have more rhythm about what we're doing offensively. But I think he has made some amazing decisions with the football to pull it down and run it. He has a very great field awareness to know where he's got to get to. And he's really done well. So we spend a lot of time talking about. The only thing that I'm trying to get our guys to do is to get better, is to quit running back towards the quarterback when he's scrambling. What I want those guys to do is to break deep. And when he scrambles, break deep, and they got to cover you. And that allows more room for him to run. And if he does pull it down, throw it, it's touchdown. So we're working on some things like that, but we got a ways to go to execute our intermediate to deep passing game, and we're not getting enough of the our vertical passing game. He made some throws last week in the intermediate passing game that I'm going like, wow. And we need to throw that a bunch more. Just like in our 4 vertical game, our guys are cutting our routes off at 8 yards instead of 12 yards. I mean, there's a lot of fundamental things. If we would improve, we can get a lot more, and we should be scoring a lot more points than we're scoring. And we have potential to do that. We just got to get better fundamentally, but we got a real quarterback, and he's taken upon himself to get better fundamentally, to be patient. We've had 100% ball security for 2 straight weeks, and he is the catalyst behind that. He is the person that drives that, and then obviously every person that touches the ball. And then we didn't have all those drops. We've had 5 to 8 drops every week. So those are things that we're getting better on, but we still there's a huge upside to where I think we can be offensively because of him.
All right. Last 2 questions. Cody, you're first.
Coach, you lost some guys on Saturday on the defensive side. You preparing for some new bodies in the starting roles?
Yes, sir. I was really proud. We had some guys step up. We played a bunch of guys. I mean, we played a bunch of guys last week, not had 1 rep in practice. So, getting a little thin in some positions, but next man up. That's the way you have to do it. And our guys are working hard to get back. I think that probably doubtful this week, but I thought Isaiah did a great job of coming in at will linebacker and played really well. We knew that he'd been playing all year long. It's one of the reasons why I like playing more people is you have more people prepared, and you don't have people coming in that haven't really played. And so, it's that kind, we're getting in after 6 games, you start having those kind of things happen, but nothing serious. So we should be able to get them back. Whether we can get them back this week or not, I don't know, but we're hopeful. But I'm really proud of Isaiah and how he came in, and then we've got to, also develop, somebody else behind him. So we're working on that as well. And our guys are really, battling, and we had a bunch of defensive linemen play a bunch of snaps. So I think DeJuan played a ton of snaps, and really proud of their effort and how they stepped it up.
All right. Last question goes to you, Stephen.
I was kind of impressed. And you said earlier about DeJuan, how he was able to. It looked like he was almost in a different position, more of on the when he's filling in for Lolu.
We had Cameron Lockridge played corner, bandit safety, and free safety in that game. DeJuan played nose tackle, defensive end, and defensive tackle in that game. So wow, we got smart guys, and they can do things like that. That's not how we want to do it ideally, but really proud of how they played.
How were you able to train Cameron that quickly for the multiple roles, especially since it's pretty much it was only a week into this new defense, or
very carefully. Back in the summer when we had 12 days of practice, we actually were teaching him boundary corner and boundary safety, and so we had a little bit of background on it. My whole deal is that I just felt like that I wanted to put Cortez and Cameron to their best receiver, to Dubes. And that way, you know, hey, if they were going to beat us, we're going to bracket him with our two best guys, and our two best guys as far as ball going and getting the ball. And so that was a must. And, you know, I was concerned a little bit about, you know, the complexities of it. And man, those guys handled it unbelievable. I thought Cortez did an unbelievable job. I mean, guy, I think had one catch for 10 yards. And I believe he was like the number one receiver in the country. And so, and even with the quarterback, you know, one of the things with the quarterback, you know, their quarterback had over a 70% completion rate. And I think because of the things that these kids were able to execute and like you're saying, in 3 days. In 3 days, they were able to do that. That tells you, so I've said all along, I really like the intellect of these kids. I like how they study the game. I love watching film. I love studying football. It's something that, I mean, I don't do, it's not work to me. I love it. And we got a bunch of kids on this team that love it the same way. And I think that's the only way you can get something taught like that. But those kids did a great job with that. I mean, it wasn't just, he didn't have, he couldn't do anything. So they did a great job. And we didn't just do one thing. We did about 7 different things to him, and how we bracket him inside, outside, over and under, inside, outside. I mean, we did a lot of different things with him and to get him frustrated and try to get him out of their game. And then once they start running that ball all the time, that quarterback struggles to get rhythm in the passing game. And so it kind of fell our way that way. But our kids did a great job. Really proud of what they did. Cortez and Cameron, the whole bunch back there, and really pleased with them.